Alright, so to get started, we're going to go over some gear that you'll need for this. So you're going to want some perked power armor. I would highly suggest having Enhanced Devoted 3, Impatient 3, Crackling 3, and Biting 3 on the armor. It's beneficial to not have Crackling 3 and Impatient 3 on the same pieces of armor because you're going to be taking off your Crackling during the reflect, and you're still going to want to be able to build. So it's nice to be able to get the Impatient 3 procs on the defensives. Also, it's technically better to have your crackling on your legs because that way when you take them off, you're losing less in stats. So you're also going to want a power mask or helm or whatever. So you're going to want like a tectonic mask or a Virtus mask, something like that. You want your wand and shield equipped. So I'd suggest Aftershock 3 on the wand and Turtling 3 on the shield. Those are both very helpful to have. Spellcasters are nice, some Virtus boots or tier 90 boots if you can afford those. An Asylum Surgeon's Ring, a Max Cape, Comp Cape, Kiln Cape, just something that'll give you some bonus magic stats. A Phoenix Necklace for drop down is really nice. Superior Scrimshaw of the Elements, ideally. If you don't have the Ancient Bones, you can just use a regular Scrimshaw, it works perfectly fine. A Limitless Sigil isn't necessary by any means, but it can help out. There are a few cases where you might end up needing it, and it'll be really nice to have. And then you're gonna want to have equipped a large rune pouch. There are a ton of runes that you're gonna want to have. These are just the 3 I put in it. So I put Blood, Dust, and Soul. Alright, so heading on to the inventory, you're going to want some type of overload. I bring a Supreme Overload salve because it saves me an inventory space. If you aren't going to bring one, you're going to want at least a Supreme Overload. That being said, you also want to bring a Super Prayer Renewal Potion. You're going to want some Super Restores or just something to renew your prayer. You can also bring Super Prayer Restores, or sorry, Super Prayer Potions if you have those and want to use them. You'll want some Ceradomin brews. You can bring Guthix brews alternatively, or some blue blubber jellyfish. You're going to want some type of solid food. I use soups. You can use regular rocktails, sailfish soup, whatever you want. You're going to want a replenishment potion. You can bring an enhanced replenishment potion if you want, but it will hardly make a difference. A perked staff you'll definitely need. So I have Aftershock 3 and Precise 4 Equilibrium 2 on mine. You don't need P4E2. Precise 5 works perfectly fine. You're going to want a Planted Feet switch as well. I still have mine on my Sun Spear, but I know a lot of people have it on their wands. So you're going to want Planted Feet and Aftershock 1 at least on it. You're going to want a Ring of Vigor, a perked offhand with a Precise Gizmo, and a flanking offhand. Flanking 2 or 3 works. Flanking 3, of course, will be better. You're going to want to have your Amulet of Souls in your inventory or a Reaper necklace if you want to bring that. An Excalibur and a main hand Drygore. You're going to want these for Barge, Bladed Dive, and just for the Excalibur's healing ability. You're going to want to bring a Guthix Staff with you, a Book Switch for Phase 5, or a Grimoire if you have that. I'm just too poor. You're going to want to bring a small rune pouch. I've got water runes and cosmics in mind. You'll also need fire, body, chaos law, and astral runes throughout the kill, provided that you're going to want to be using disruption shield, spellbook swap, vuln, shield dome, intercept, all that stuff. Alright, so to start off with, we're dropping into phase 1. Spellbook swap over to Lunars, turn your prayers on, eat a food, activate your Excalibur, and sip an overload. You're going to want to climb through this first rock and res the first bomb, then climb up the next rock after you turn Mage Prey on. Surge over to the next rock and Disruption Shield if there's a bomb targeting you. Otherwise, you can wait to use it. Climb up the rock and then Bladed Dive diagonally over to the final rock. Provoke Vorago into the correct position and then Sun Adren. Remember to Soul Split Flick throughout this to maintain your HP, but try not to miss Soul Split Flicking like I do. So you can res a bomb if you need to, and then just go through your Sun rotation like normal. The phase will typically go a little bit faster, but I wasn't on Aura yet. Alternatively, you can also just onslaught when you get up here if your phase is going fast enough. So in Vorago's low HP, make sure that you're praying magic and are high HP, at least 6 to 7,000 or so, and then go ahead and jump. During the jump, keep in mind it's possible you can take some bombs, so be prepared to eat when you land. Finish off the phase with some thresholds. And then during the phase transition, if you're cool like me, you can heal your partner. Alright, so for bleeds, you're going to want to stand on the opposite side of Vorago as your partner. You're going to evoke for the third bleed like you normally would. However, you're going to be taking 3 bleeds in total now since you're in a duo. So you're going to freedom and escape just like you normally would, and then you're going to allow Vorago to follow you, and then take 1 step forwards. You take 1 step forward so that Vorago will go back into base spot when your partner evokes him back. So get off for reflect, take your crackling off. Remember to shard throughout the phase. Now for the red bomb, you're going to walk underneath Vorago and barricade and then intercept your partner. Throughout phase 2, your partner should try and tag any orb on their side of Vorago, and you should tag any orb under Vorago or on your side. So for the other reds throughout this phase, so for the second red, your partner can Cade and intercept you, or you can just transfigure it, whatever you want. And then for the third red, you just repeat what you did here for the first. So walk underneath Vorago, barricade, intercept. Alright, so now we're on to bring him down. So at this point, make sure your aura is active and determine if you should activate your Scrimshaw based off of Vorago's HP. Also make sure your prayer is on. If you need some extra health, you can turn on Dark Force, or Dark Form. The base typically uses Corruption during bring him down, so your rotation will not use this. I like to Wild Magic, Combust, Asphyxiate, Debreath, and then Flank with Deep Impact. You should 4-tick during this if you can, and then Shatter after. Make sure that you're full adrenaline going into phase 3. Alright, so now we're into phase 3. So when Vorago drops down, you're going to run into where Vorago's arms points. So as the bomb tank, you're going to be Devo intercepting the blues here. So you're going to let your base tag them after you asphyxiate Wild Magic. Then you're going to Devo him. Now we're getting into the quadrant with the red bombs. You're going to tag 1 red, they're going to tag 2, and then you're just going to Sunshine as soon as you can. You're going to A-pot, and then you're going to Threshold after he stands up. Wait till after he stands up, because there's still a lot of damage reduction while he's on the ground. So get off for the reflect, and res this last bomb here, throw a shard just to get some extra gen. It's not like you're going to be proccing them. You can Deado and Shield Dome as well to save a bit of HP. Then release it. Don't release it with a shield on like I did though. Then just keep thresholding through here. You're going to go around again. But so still tag a red like usual. Normally the bomb will tag 2 reds this time around, although my partner tagged 2 for me. And then you're going to intercept him for the blues again, but this time you won't have Devo, so you can just reflect them. Just make sure that your reflects off cooldown, because keep in mind the reds will still put your abilities on cooldown, or your defensive abilities, that is. So then after he stands up, so you can Sunshine, you can Threshold, whatever you want, just finish Rago off. You shouldn't have too much HP left at this time. Alright, so now we're into phase 4. So you're going to want to surge into the waterfall, just like normal. Now, out of the waterfall, make sure you throw a shard. You're going to want to be doing this throughout the entire phase, and then just build out. So you can res the first blue. then reflect the next two if you have adrenaline. I like to regenerate between the phases though, so I typically don't for this first time. Then you're gonna anticipate, combust your clone, walk it, preparation and devotion, and then kill your clone. This will give you a second res at the very end. So you can count 7 bombs so that you know you're on the last one, and then res that one. It's also going to be right as your Devo runs out here, which is nice, because you're always going to get the clone in a duo, provided your partner has it voked. So now in phase 4, you and your partner should tag all the reds. It doesn't really matter who tags them. Like in this case, I tag them all. Just make sure you have at least 6k HP. I mean, in theory, it can hit up to 9k on you if you're like right next to your partner, but just spread out and it won't happen. So now after going around, your base should cade and intercept you. You can either side and threshold, just do whatever you want to lower the HP on Vorago a little bit. After this, they'll Devo your red. And then they'll go melee distance for the reflect here. So you can Deado. As you can see, I start to Deado here, but I guess I just can't make up my mind, and I preferred the res. But I got rewarded, 5k res, nice and juicy. So head back to the waterfall, just repeat this once more, and then we're into phase 5. So finishing up phase 4, heading to the last waterfall. You're gonna threshold out to finish off this phase, and then you can res the last bomb here to get a bit of extra HP. It's helpful to have more HP going into the next phase. It's really not necessary to as a bomb tank, because you're able to recover pretty easily. So pick up the maul pieces, just make that as early as you can. So when you drop down here, or before you drop down, you're going to want to swap over to Lunars and Disruption Shield. So put your book on, hold Asphyxiate until the first bomb comes out. As the first bomb comes out, you're going to cancel it with Corruption, Debreath, and then you can cade on the second bomb. You can Sept your partner if you want. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if they're sunning, they'll get the HP back anyways. If they're onslaughting, the Sept won't do anything. So build with defensives when it hits reflect, and then you're going to shield dome. So you're going to move in here. You can swap to standards and Vuln if your partner hasn't yet landed a Vuln. Make sure you clear your bleeds. Then you're going to want to sun as soon as you can. Make sure you stand all the way north so you can't get hit like a bomb with a bomb like I do. Alternatively, you can also onslaught here if you want. So just go through your sun rotation like normal. Make sure to G-staff at some point. It really helps with pushback. The extra accuracy you gain is super nice. Make sure you get off of the reflect, and the reflect's another good time to reapply Vuln. Make sure it's still up. So throw another shard, especially if you're not near Maul at this point, because if you do end up taking forever, stacking it up to 10 shards, the hit will really help out. So you can Deado at the end of the reflect, release it, going, clear your bleeds, and if you're near Maul, you can go ahead and early cade when you head out. Your partner can either sun or onslaught depending on what they did to start out the phase with. And there you go, nice and easy Maul.